Dog that showed up this morning that was showing signs of people and dog aggression. And that means being aggressive towards people and being aggressive towards dogs. A lot of the dog situation has been on leash. It's been aggressive on leash. But now we're about to see what's happening off leash. My opinion of this dog is that it's misunderstood about exactly what people have wanted from it. And it appears fearful in an environment where it was taught to be dominant. Not taught to be dominant purposely, but basically accidentally. And so we want to see how things go with the dogs. So I'm going to release some dogs. And what I'm looking for is to see how this dog responds to the dogs that I am releasing. So here we go. Here we go. Okay, she took a disciplined bite. This looks like fear, as I suspected. And because we know, because we know it's fear, that type of fear, then we can take them off. You know, fear aggression is the most difficult of all the aggressions because we don't know exactly where it comes from. But from working with and studying dogs, as long as I have, I can take a very educated guess and usually end up being absolutely correct that fear aggression generally comes either genetically from the fear imprint period or it is learned during the socialization period. And the reason that it's so difficult is not that itself fear is difficult to understand because we know how it makes us feel, but how it is produced within the dog if it's not genetic. And it's usually done by the way we interact with the dog when it is going through the hormonal change that's related to fear. We look at it in a way that is very emotional to the human being, meaning that because we know how it makes us feel, the way we approach it is very sentimental. We try to align ourselves up with the person or the dog or the animal that has the fear in order to comfort them in hopes that it will go away, that somehow that they will understand that they are safe and secure and that the fear can go away. But that's the way humans look at things. Dogs don't do that. Dogs, when you show them that things are okay in the way that humans do it, then you actually increase more of the fear. And so how can the dog let it go if we are rewarding and reinforcing this state of mind? Fear is something with animals that we and the animal must walk through. Our job is to make sure that they are safe from the beginning of the fear period, that we are noticing the fear, through the phase into the other side of it, and out the other side of it, so that the dog walks through what we would consider to be fear and comes out on the other side where they only have to fear itself. And as I mentioned before, fear is in the future. Danger is real. So then what does that mean? That means that a dog was in a dangerous situation at one time, that the person perceived it as being fear, and it responded to it in a fearful way rather than to respond to it in a dangerous way, which is in danger, we go away from the stimulus. Rather than force the dog to deal with it, we don't allow for them to flee. And so they learn to move forward. And that's why when most dogs have fear aggression, they go forward to be aggressive rather than when we know when any animal or person is afraid, they generally go the opposite direction because that's the direction that fear takes them in. which means if they're going forward, then they learned. I usually give the example that if I tell someone that I'm going to go climb a mountain and they have fear of heights, do you think they're going to go up that mountain? No, they're going to go the other way. And the only time they will go up that mountain is if I have convinced them that that's the direction to go. And then soon, they are no longer fearful of the mountain. Do you understand? They are no longer fearful of the mountain, and so they have moved forward with their fear. They have become emboldened, and it makes it easier for them to do it next time. And that's why our dogs makes it easier for them to become more and more aggressive, because of the way we are allowing them to move forward with this fear. Okay? So we want to deal with this now. I want to take this muzzle off because we want to deal with it. And we want to carry the dog through the fear phase. This can be one of the most difficult things for human to do, but it's the most important thing to do if we're going to save lives of dogs. This is not dominance aggression, which we consider, oh, aggression is just aggression. No, there are many levels of aggression. Okay? Just like there's many levels of love, many levels of play, many levels of sadness. We can't just label it one thing, because we'll become stuck in the concept of the word fear. So I want to reduce the stress level of this dog, which sounds weird, by producing more dogs. So here we go. There we go. She's wondering, like, what is he doing? What is this all about? And what I'm actually doing is setting up a scenario where I'm successful with what it is I'm trying to do. So I'm creating a problem with the other dogs and allowing them to work it out, but me as a mediator. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on, Luce. Come on, Luce. I don't want to let her out. You see the tail is down? You see that right ear? It has a deformity to it, but she still works it in a way that she's thinking. You know, animals use their ears and their tail to display information. And she's saying, look, I'm really not interested. I want to escape. I want to get out. And that's normal. That's the way she should be going in terms of fear. But she's not using that to retaliate on the dog. In other words, the fear, and not the fear, but the desire to get away from this environment causes her to hormonally feel different about these guys here. She doesn't really care. The hormonal state that she's in is greater than the one that she's experiencing around her. And so that's how she can calm herself down. We'll continue with more dogs. Now, this dog has never been free with other dogs. Never been allowed to be openly free like this. Always on a leash. Always in the fight stage. Never in the flight. Never allowing the flight to kick in. Come on, Bronny. Bronny comes in, she's got her hair up. She knows that there's something going on. So she goes off, she smells around first before she starts looking individually at dogs, which is what we see dogs do all the time. They act as if they're not interested. They're smelling around, they're urinating, they're emboldening themselves so that then they go over to the stimulant, and then they either become aggressive or submissive or indifferent. But look at this dog. She looks very calm. Yeah. And this is what she needs. I'm going to take her for a walk. See how she's smelling? The other dog's urinating. I'm going to take her for a walk and teach her how to walk behind me. Now, the interesting thing about this dog, it's been doing nose work. Now, nose work can help the dog to become emboldened because it is a dominant thing. They are independently working. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's just that it helps her to be out front. And this dog needs to be behind because genetically it has some fear. So it needs to be operating in the direction that the hormone is telling it to be in. So if the hormone is saying, hey, you're a fearful state genetically, then there's no reason that this dog should be showing aggression unless she's being tricked by its owners. Not the present owner necessarily, but the one who has owned this dog before because it's a rescue. Yeah. But I don't see the aggression in the dogs. Now I know on the leash that's a whole different thing, but that's where I teach her how to walk. So we'll continue.